Classical Music Readers, Level 2. The Works of Ludwig van Beethoven. Copyright 2023. Seed Learning. All rights reserved. Who was Ludwig van Beethoven? Ludwig van Beethoven is often considered the greatest composer who ever lived. He is all the more impressive for his ability to keep composing, even as his hearing failed him. Beethoven was born in Bonn, Germany, in 1770. As a child, he showed musical talent. He was taught by his father, who gave his son little love. Beethoven certainly did not have an easy childhood. His family lost most of their money after the death of his grandfather in 1773, and the poor health of his father made matters worse. When he was 11, Beethoven was forced to leave school to find a job. Around 1780, Beethoven was lucky enough to study the piano with Christian Gottlob Neefe, who taught him how to compose music. In time, Neefe gave him work as a court organist. He encouraged his young student and helped him get his first work published at the age of 13. Beethoven made such great progress in his musical skills that he was sent to Vienna, where he hoped to study with Mozart. But his mother got sick, so he had to return to Bonn after just a few weeks. Back in Bonn, he continued his work as an organist and taught music. In 1792, Beethoven went to Vienna again, but this time he met the composer Joseph Haydn. Beethoven's goal was to perform music, but his talent as a composer was hard to hide. In 1800, Beethoven presented his Symphony No. 1 in C major at the Imperial Court Theatre in Vienna. This was his first major work for an orchestra. 1 year later, he published his first string quartets. Beethoven was already starting to lose his hearing at this time. Beethoven continued to write music. In fact, as his hearing got worse, Beethoven spent less time with other people and more time alone composing. He continued to conduct, including the first performances of his Third and Fifth Symphonies in 1804 and 1808. By the age of 44, he could not hear at all, and had to communicate with written notes to talk to people. Despite his hearing loss, many of his most important works were composed during the last 10 years of his life. It is believed that Beethoven fell in love several times, but he never married. When he died at the age of 56, the only people with him were his sister-in-law Johanna van Beethoven and his friend Anselm Hüttenbrenner. Piano Sonata No. 14 in C-sharp minor, Opus 27, No. 2, 1801. Among Beethoven's loves was a woman named Julie Guicciardi. In a letter to a friend in 1801, he wrote about being in love with her, but nothing came of it. However, he dedicated Piano Sonata No. 14, also known as the Moonlight Sonata, to her. This sonata, which has 3 movements, has always been popular. It got the popular name Moonlight Sonata when a music critic said that the first movement was like the moonlight shining on Lake Lucerne. The piece opens with a slow, rather sad first movement and ends with the much faster but angry-sounding third movement. According to one story, when the Moonlight Sonata was first performed, Beethoven hit the piano keys very hard during the third movement. In fact, he hit the keys so hard that some of the piano strings broke. Symphony No. 5 in C minor, Opus 67, 1808. Maybe you do not know Symphony No. 5 in C minor by name, but you will recognize it if you hear the first 4 notes, which are played in a short, long style. The symphony was written between 1804 and 1808. It is one of the best-known pieces of music in the world. Beethoven wrote this at a time of his life when he was trying to understand his hearing loss. It was also a time of war. This helps to explain the emotional quality of this work. Although the work is very popular now, people did not love it right away. When it was first played, the theater was very cold, the program was too long, and the orchestra didn't practice. In fact, the orchestra made such bad mistakes that Beethoven had to stop and start again from the beginning. Luckily, music critics recognized how special this music was when it was published in 1810. It is hard to imagine a time when Symphony No. 5 in C minor was not loved. Bagatelle No. 25 in A minor, 1810. Bagatelle No. 25 in A minor, better known as Für-Elise, is familiar to all piano students. It is a piece played in lessons, music exams, and school concerts all over the world. Beethoven wrote it in 1810, but it wasn't published for another 40 years. One reason that this piece is popular is that it is simple. It's easier to play than many other piano pieces, which is why it is used in so many piano lessons. But it is elegant and well written, as we would expect from Beethoven. Für-Elise means for Elise. It is believed that Beethoven dedicated this to a woman, although no one really knows who she was. No matter who Elise was, we can be thankful that Beethoven decided to write this piece for the solo piano. It has brought happiness to millions of people.